So there are two kinds of cells in this world. They are called prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Of all the cells, they have to fall into these two categories. So the first one is pro, which means before. Please write this on your paper. And then the next one is eu, which means true. Karyote means nucleus. So prokaryote means what? Before nucleus. Eukaryote means true nucleus. So prokaryotic cells have no nucleus. That would answer your on the chart. So does it have a nucleus, a prokaryote? No. What about a eukaryote? Yeah, that's the main difference you need to know. Is that with a prokaryote versus a eukaryote, with a prokaryote, it's small like that, and it has no nucleus, whereas a eukaryote has that thing right there. And what's that called? Nucleus.
Wait, does that mean
Eukaryote has a true nucleus. Prokaryote is before nucleus.
Does it mean it's bigger though?
Yeah, it is bigger.
Yay, thank you.
And a prokaryote also does not have membrane-bound organelles. That would be like the mitochondria and the chloroplasts.
What about the you?
So I would call these membrane-bound organelles. So for prokaryotes, I would put no. And for eukaryotes, what would you put? Yes. Now, the next, for prokaryotes versus eukaryotes. All living things have a twisted strand like this called DNA. In prokaryotes, it is circular. Whereas in eukaryotes, it is a line. It's linear. So DNA is basically a string. Imagine a string that looks like this right here. That thing right in the middle. And that string, if it forms a big circle, like right here, that would be what it's like in prokaryotes. In eukaryotes, it forms that one line. Okay. Now, so I would put circular. By the way, I would put circular and linear, if you didn't do that already. Now, the next one. Their size, large or small. So, Trevor already pointed that out. Prokaryotes versus eukaryotes. You may have noticed when I drew them earlier, prokaryotes are small, relatively.
Can we draw that right
And eukaryotes are relatively what? Now, compared to you, they're not large, but compared to a prokaryote, they are. Now, guys, I don't know if you've gotten this yet, but prokaryote is another word for bacteria. Okay, now, the next thing on your data table. Are they unicellular or multicellular? Now, prokaryotes, remember, are bacteria. And what do we know about bacteria? Are they uni or multicellular? They are unicellular. But eukaryotes, what do you think eukaryotes are? You guys are half right. They can either be uni or multi. It could be one, or it could be many cells. Now, you happen to be a eukaryotic organism with many multiple cells. So you're multicellular eukaryotic organism, as are most plants and animals. Now, let's move on to prokaryotes versus eukaryotes again. Now, some examples of eukaryotes. Basically, any plant, basically any animal, any fungus. Hope, think of one plant. Name one plant. Any plant. Okay, a tree is eukaryotic. Juliana, name an animal. Cats are eukaryotic. All animals and plants are eukaryotic. The only thing that's prokaryotic are bacteria. Now, does anyone know the names of any bacteria, like specific bacteria? Sean. Okay, I'll give you a hint. There's one famous one called E. I heard somebody, yeah, E. coli. E. coli is a famous one, and there's another famous one that's found on eggs sometimes if you're not careful. Salmonella, I heard it coming from somewhere. Stop stealing credit, Ayana. Okay, there are also good bacteria as well. A good example of good bacteria is acidophilus. That is found in yogurt, and that's actually good for your stomach. The next thing that we want to talk about is a picture. So you're going to want to draw a picture of them. So for a prokaryote, prokaryotes are kind of small compared to eukaryotes. But the main thing I want you to know coming away today is that eukaryotes have a what? A nucleus, and prokaryotes don't. So can you all say prokaryotes again?
Prokaryotes.
And can you all say eukaryotes? Okay, so eukaryotes have a nucleus, prokaryotes do not. Eu means true. Pro means before nucleus. Prokaryotes have been around for 3.5 billion years. Eukaryotes have only been around for maybe a billion years. They haven't been around that long. They're both long, but prokaryotes have been around a lot longer than eukaryotes.